Hi, everybody. I think it's about to connect shortly. Hang in there. Hi, thank you so much for joining. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so today I've got my orange on. Today is National Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, March 1st, and the amazing part of all of this is March is my birth month, and so to me it is extremely near and dear to my heart. And today I have my husband joining me to share a little bit about his story, living with multiple sclerosis, and what happened to me, and how it was so terrifying and scary at the same time, like we were living in a horror movie. But I wanted to share today with you and have my husband speak a little bit about what he has seen over the years before 2012 and being diagnosed with MS, and learning how to live with this disease and recognize what happens to us and early signs that trigger my attacks, and what goes on in my home life as well as my work life. So I thank you all so very much for supporting me, for joining in today and listening to what we have to say. So I'm just waiting on Robert to come in and sit down and talk with us and have questions. So any questions that you may have that you would like me to answer, please retype them, because the first part of the messages went by really fast and I was unable to read them. But I'm super excited. I got myself orange glasses for the month of March so I can see little writing. I'm really good at far away seeing, but not very good at seeing up close. Living with multiple sclerosis every day is a challenge, not only for me, but for everybody out there in the world. And today is Awareness Day, and it's not just today, it's every day. And all of us that have Instagram feeds, it's up to us to share our story and how much that we want to share with the world. I chose to start my Instagram a year and a half ago on September 19th to share my journey and how my everyday life is, and to let you come along with me on my life's journey through stories and also through my photos of modeling and trying to express to you how I felt at the time and what was going on with me. I have worked with many photographers, and they ask me to do certain things, and sometimes I look at them with a blank stare and I can't really reply or do what they're asking, because my brain at that time is attacking either right or left, and I cannot respond with what they're asking me to do. So I have an amazing team of photographers, but my number one photographer is my husband, and he is able to read the signs and what is going on with me even before I know the attack is coming on. He can see that it's that blank stare, that brain fog, or if I'm having to move, he can notice that my walking is unstable and I need to take a break and take a rest. And sometimes the photo shoots have to go run short, and sometimes they run long, and it takes me 3 to 4 days to recover from them. But I will continue to fight this battle and continue to live strong in the best way that I can. Does anyone have any particular questions for me? I'm so glad everyone joined. Let me put on my glasses so I can see. Hello. Hi. Do any of you that are watching right now have multiple sclerosis? Okay, so I will just continue to talk about my journey and what happened to me. I went through years of seeing multiple doctors, from vision loss to wondering why I couldn't feel my arm, to wondering why I was always stumbling and it looked like I was drunk and I hadn't had anything to drink, to being extremely fatigued and exhausted and calling my best friend Jenna and saying, I don't know why I feel like this, because of there wasn't anything I did the day before to make me feel like I was completely exhausted, like working out. I never worked out before in my life until I was diagnosed with MS. I used to just be running around and doing charitable work and running with my 3 children. And every time I went to the doctors, I would tell them my symptoms, and they would tell me I was just a stressed out mom, and I needed to just hang in there and take a vacation. And here's a bottle of Xanax and a prescription. Just take this when you're stressed out. And that's what I heard for so long that I finally stopped talking about what was wrong with me. And I would only talk to my husband. And there was one day when finally he just said, I think we really need to see a specialist or a neurologist or something. It's got to be brain related, because we're not getting the answers that we need. And at one point in 2011, I had to go in for a hysterectomy. I produced multiple tumors constantly throughout my body and my lymph nodes. And then the following year, in 2012, that's when all life went crazy for me. I went through a double mastectomy, and I was healing from that. And unfortunately, I didn't listen to the doctor, and I tore stitches, and I ended up getting an infection. But the burning sensation I was feeling had nothing to do with the infection. It was actually an MS symptom that I was unaware of. And from that point on, I basically continued to just try to be strong. And I was feeling more fatigued than I should be feeling. And I spoke to my doctor about that, and she just said, you're probably stressed and exhausted from having, your surgery, and calm down, it's going to be okay. But I think that you need to follow up with your family practitioner as well. So I did, and they recommended me going to other doctors. In the meantime, waiting to get into other doctors, I basically collapsed. My entire body shut down on me. I could not speak. I lost complete vision. I couldn't move. And the one thing that I could do was mutter. And it was hearing like a horrible child screaming from a corner. And the one thing I tried to do was try to move my arm and to push the glass off of my side table so my husband would hear the sound. And as he came into the room, he looked at me and he could see that I was crying, but I was really unable to talk to him. And I couldn't really see him. I knew he was there, and I could hear him. But at that point, we were so scared we didn't know what was going on. He just walked into the room. Are you going to come sit? At that point, we didn't know what was happening with me. We basically were scared. We thought, maybe it's the infection. Maybe something else is happening to us. He took me to the ER. They checked me out. They hospitalized me. They ran tons of blood work, and they basically said that it was due to the stress and the anxiety of my repair of my double mastectomy. And so I was sent home. And I thought, okay, I must just be going crazy. All these years, all these symptoms, everything happening to me, I'm going crazy. And A few days later, I wasn't supposed to be driving, and I was stubborn as hell and decided to let my son drive to the movie theaters. Well, at that time, he didn't know how to drive very well, and by the time we got to the movie theaters, I just wanted to get out of the car and get home. And I stepped out and lost my leg ability to walk, and I fell into a fire hydrant drain. And it actually cut into my leg and straight into the vein. By the time that I got home, and being on Levaquin already from my double mastectomy and healing, the infection had already gotten into my bloodstream. Went to the ER, they cleaned me out, stitched me up, and sent me home. And they said that they weren't going to put me on any antibiotics because I was already on the strongest antibiotic that I could be on. From that point on, I was in bed, healing from the double mastectomy, and now I've got my foot up in the air, stitches, and a walker because I couldn't walk. In the middle of the night, I woke up screaming that the pain in my leg was so bad that it felt like somebody had a blowtorch on me. We rushed back to the ER. They had to literally hold me down on the table because I was screaming from so much pain going on in my body, and I didn't understand why. They cut my stitches out, and they realized by sending out to the lab that I had MRSA. So not only was I fighting staph and healing from a massive infection, I had MRSA, and they hospitalized me and quarantined me, where my children couldn't even come in to see me in the hospital. Robert was there, and we were all scared. We didn't know what was happening. We thought it just had to be the infections going on in my body. And so for 6 months, we went through every single doctor you can imagine. I talked to my friends. I talked to my family. My children were all extremely supportive. And 6 months later, and I don't know how many doctors, bone doctors, neurologists, several neurologists, psychiatrists, family doctors, blood work, you name it. We did it all. And through that whole time, I was still unable to walk on my own. I was healing and trying to get better. I was trying to stay positive, but I thought I was really losing my mind. And I thought that I was going to have to be committed to a hospital for insanity, as that was going through my mind. And at one point, I even thought they're all better off if I just took my life. So I'm sharing all of this with you today because today is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. This disease completely destroys us living with it, and it is extremely hard on our families and our loved ones. It is a disease that is unseen, and all you see is me in a photo, or your friends, or your mother, or your brother, or anyone that has MS. So I ask you today to please raise awareness with us and stand by us and have your voices heard. Tell it through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you can. Get your story out there and raise awareness, because this disease needs a cure, and we need all the help that we can get. And every day I am going to be here fighting this battle and fighting with all of you and DMing back with all of you. So I'm sorry for crying, but I really needed to share that part of my story with you, and I really needed you to know that you need love and trust and faith, and just know that you're not alone. Your MS family is here with you, along with your own family. Robert has been my rock, my heart, and my soul, and our 3 children have gotten me through all of my toughest days. but I continue to travel because I am not going to let this disease stop me. So I am asking all of you today, please help us raise awareness for multiple sclerosis, to find a cure, and to stop this disease in its tracks. And please, pharmaceuticals, you cannot have the medication so expensive that we can't afford it. Please work with us and help us and get the medication at an available amount to help all of us live with this disease. I ask of you, to every pharmaceutical out there with every medication that all of us have to take, this is a medication that will save our lives and to help us get through our days. And I need you all to understand that $65,000 for someone that can't afford even milk that week, you're asking us to let this disease kill us. I am standing strong in this, and I need you all to stand strong with us and make our medication affordable for everybody, because we deserve to live, and we are all here fighting. So that's all I have to say, and I just want to say thank you for supporting me on my journey living with multiple sclerosis. Love you.
Proud of you. Of you. Thank you, everyone, for all the community support that Dawnmarie has every day, and that we as spouses, best friends, and just overall community have together to really support each other and all this disease throws at us.
Thank you. Have a great day.